Welcome back. After a long break, we'll be starting with the first Group B squad, Canada, managed by Jesse Marsh. As predicted by many sources and now myself, Dayne St. Clair should start in goal for the second host nation, Canada. Jesse Marsh has seemingly trusted him over other options in recent times, and now with his move to Inter Miami, he should only increase in form before the tournament. He was in the squad in Qatar, but only as a backup, so this will be the 28-year-old's first time actually playing at a World Cup. There is a non-zero chance that Maxime Crepeau is the starter for Canada at this World Cup, as he has had the role at times over the past 10 years, but his form is always so inconsistent, and being older doesn't help his case when he has the same experience. So with that said, I think the Orlando City keeper will purely be a backup for St. Clair at his first World Cup. The third choice spot is one with a few options to choose from, but in this case I would take England junior international Owen Goodman. The Crystal Palace goalkeeper is on loan at Barnsley this season, so with his youth international experience and still only being 22, I think it is in Canada's best interest to take him for the experience, as he is my favourite to be the future number one for this national team post St. Clair. So that's it for the goalkeepers for the Canada squad. Au revoir and goodbye. See you next time. Welcome back. In part 2 for the Canada squad, we'll be looking at the centre backs. Despite a broken ankle disrupting a large part of his season, I think Moise Bombito will get enough game time at the back end of the season with his imminent return to retain his starting spot. The 25-year-old currently plays in France for Nice, which is valuable European experience for a Canadian team looking to get a first World Cup win, which will feel even better if it comes on home soil, and that all starts with solidity at the back through players like Bombito. Another Canadian centre-back whose season has been plagued with injury is Derek Cornelius, but again I think the experience and talent he has warrants him maintaining the starting role. The 28-year-old Rangers centre-back has played at a World Cup previously in 2022 where Canada were unfortunate not to win a single game, but I think this national team is only improving and is in somewhat of a golden generation that could be capitalized upon on home soil. My first backup will be Luc de Frugerolles. The 20-year-old has seen more chances with the first team with recent injuries, and should one of the previous players not be fit, I think Luke would do just fine and gain valuable experience for a player who is the future of this Canadian defense. He is currently on loan in Belgium at FCV Denda from Fulham, which proves how much potential this kid has. The second backup I have is Joel Waterman. I expect the 30-year-old to play the exact same role as what he did in Qatar 2022 in being an unused squad player, as I believe he is good enough to be in the squad but just doesn't have the skill or upside that other players have to warrant giving him game time. He currently plays in the MLS for Chicago Fire. The last centre-back I have going to this World Cup for Canada is one I haven't seen in many other squad predictions, but I like the upside and potential for growth in picking Jamie Knight-Labelle. The 21-year-old will gain more out of this experience than other options in my opinion, who would just be filling numbers, so why not take him and improve your future? He is currently playing on loan for Swindon Town, but has shown signs that he is bound to be a future talent for Canada. So that's it for the centre-backs. Au revoir. Hello, welcome back. In part 3 for Canada, we'll be looking at the fullbacks, a very deep position. The Canadian captain and first name on the team sheet, Alphonso Davies, has been unlucky with injuries this season. However, this won't stop him from being one of Canada's key pieces for a team hoping to get its first win on home soil. Davies is arguably Canada's most recognisable player of all time and the only Canadian to ever win the Champions League. This is important experience that will be helpful to Canada, especially when with this team Davies is allowed to get forward and be more attacking than usual. The Croatian under-21 international Nico Seger will be the starting right-back for this relatively young Canadian team. At 22 years old, Nico has a long future with the national team, and yet he has already been an important player for Canada's golden generation. He also can be deployed in a defensive midfield role, which is good versatility for this team. The Celtic right-back Alistair Johnston will easily make the squad as a backup. At 27, this will be his second World Cup. However, his role this time around will be different. He was a starter in Qatar, but This time he will be exclusively deployed off the bench unless there is an injury. With 56 caps to date, he will surely add at least one to his tally come June. In terms of Davies' left-back backup, Richie Laryea should win this spot. He did play in all three of Canada's games in the 2022 edition of the tournament. However, this time around I can't see him getting much time on the field. The 31-year-old plays in the MLS for domestic side Toronto FC, but with his versatility across the entire backline, he will be an important squad piece for Canada. Salut, see you next time for the midfielders. Now it's time for part 4 for Canada, where we'll be looking at the midfielders for the squad. The first of two starting midfielders in a double-pivoted 4-4-2 will be Ismail Kone. The 23-year-old plays for Sassuolo in the Serie A, where in his debut season he has been a standout performer. Having amassed 37 caps to date, this will be Ismail's second World Cup, the first of which he did start all three group games in, and that shouldn't change here on home soil. I'll be willing to bet that Ismail will be one of Canada's most important players should they make a run in this tournament. The second starter will be 29-year-old Stefan Eustáquio. The 54-time international has consistently been a mainstay in the Canadian team since making his debut in 2019. He is currently on loan at LAFC in the MLS from Porto, a club where he had played 152 games since 2022. The first backup I have joining this Canadian squad is Nathan Saliba. The youthful 22-year-old has announced himself on the international stage recently and has only been improving. Nathan is a more defensive option for the home nation who should be used in games where Canada have got a lead and are looking to sit back and absorb pressure. He currently plays in Belgium for Anderlecht, where he has been an important player in his inaugural season. Currently out with a hamstring injury, Zoran Bassong should recover in time to be selected for the 2026 edition of the World Cup. The 26-year-old will be attending his first World Cup, but will likely not see much time on the field due to more quality options above him. He currently plays in the MLS for Sporting Kansas City. The last midfielder I have making the squad is Mathieu Choinière. The 27-year-old, like his national teammate Stefan Eustáquio, plays for MLS side LAFC. With 22 caps to date, he may increase this at the tournament, but only via the sub bench in my opinion. Salut, see you next time for the wingers. Hello, welcome back to part 5 for the Canada squad, where we'll be looking at the wingers. Easily one of this Canada squad's most recognisable names is former Inter Milan player Tajon Buchanan. This high-profile and consistent performances for the national team should see him retain his starting spot. He currently plays in La Liga for Villarreal, a period that has seen him get back to some of the better form of his career, unlike his time at Inter. At 27, he should be in the prime of his career to take this golden generation far. Starting on the left side should be the 25-year-old Ali Ahmed. With 22 caps to date, the Norwich City winger will be looking to add to that number at his first World Cup. He will be an important attacking player for a Canada team with lots of offensive upside. The backup for Ali on the left side should be the experienced Jacob Schaffelberg. Currently out with a groin injury, he will have recovered in time to get match fitness in the lead up to a home World Cup. At 26, the LAFC product is in his prime and to be an important substitute for the national team. The last winger for Canada should be 23-year-old Jayden Nelson. The Austin FC player will be attending his first World Cup and will be an important backup due to his versatility across both wings. He currently has 13 caps with 2 goals since making his full international debut in 2020. So that's it for the wingers. See you next time for the strikers. For this, the final part of the Canada squad, we'll be looking at the strikers, a very deep and important position. Jonathan David, being Canada's all-time leading goalscorer, makes him an easy pick for the first of the starting striker positions. Arguably Canada's second most recognisable player ever, only behind captain Alphonso Davies, the 26-year-old has consistently shown he is one of Canada's best in a golden generation of talent. He currently plays for the world-renowned Juventus, where he has been off to somewhat a slow start, but that shouldn't stop him from performing for Canada on home soil and hopefully adding to his already record-breaking tally for the national team. The recent emergence of Tani Alawase has been fast but strong enough to get him a starting spot for his nation. At 25, this will be his first World Cup, and it will be an important one in cementing his legacy with the national team. He currently plays alongside squad mate Tajon Buchanan at Villarreal on a club level, which I would suggest gives him an edge due to his chemistry over other strikers. The first backup I have is the highly informed Promise David. Despite having same last name as starter Jonathan, there is no relation between the two, and this is just a coincidence that they are two of the nation's best strikers. The past 2 seasons for Promise have been an important stepping stone in getting him into this squad, as it was only in 2025 that the Union St. Gilloise forward made his debut for the national team, and since then he has had 3 goals in 8 caps. In my opinion, Promise will be Canada's most useful substitute and is easily capable of chipping in with a goal off the bench. The last player I have making the Canada squad is an important one, and that is the country's second highest goal scorer in Kyle Larin. At 30 years old, and with the quality ahead of him, Kyle is a bit past his starting time. However, that won't stop him from trying to add to his national team goal tally off the bench. This will be his second World Cup, as he was an important player in Qatar, playing in all 3 of Canada's games. Kyle is currently on loan in England at Southampton from Mallorca, showing he still has the quality to play.